Hey there. I want to talk today about news versus entertainment. And the reason I want to do that is because a lot of people don't know the difference. What we would consider news is something that well, you would see it on television and whatnot. They're regular news channels. And something we would consider entertainment could be found very easily on social media. And there is a difference. The thing about thinking that it's news, which is meant to be material that is supported, that has sources that can be proven to be accurate, and entertainment, which is really somebody's opinion about something that has happened or uh, something that is considered a newsworthy item, but is only giving that person's opinion. And I know that we think entertainment um, can be fun and whatnot, and it has its place. It's something we all love to watch. But if you're really concerned about what's going on around you, for example, there's some pretty hefty things happening in the world politically right now. If you're not looking for the actual facts, then you're getting heavily misinformed, and that means you might take actions that you would later regret. And you could say to yourself, well, I didn't know. But that's why it's important to be able to figure out the difference. It's important to your mental health, very important. It's also something that we all struggle with um, when we allow what we're watching to take over. And what do I mean by that? Well, you might, for example, think that it's fun to watch entertainment that is focused on news type items and get emotionally sucked in because that's what they do. They're usually like clickbait because they tend to hit on subjects that are really emotional and weighty. There are things that get you going, anger, uh, and so forth. But the thing is, you start to believe it. And because you start to believe it, suddenly it's affecting your entire life, including things like trying to get a good sleep, making plans that you would normally make and not think twice about, the stress level. Man, the people you talk to are so stressed that they've forgotten things like, treating people decently. And because you want to be treated decently, you can't forget that it's one of those things that come back to bite you. So you might wonder maybe why I thought that this might be a good topic. Well, if you're a happy individual, you take the time to investigate, to question, to look into things that you enjoy. And that should also apply to things that just happen to be in your life that you have nothing to do with, but that affect your life. Because even though you can't control what's going on out there, you can control how you react to it. And that means that you can end up being a lot happier because you took the bull by the horns and you said, okay, that's enough of that. This extends into other things. For example, if you decided that, let's say you enjoy horror movies, that kind of thing, Well, if that's what you enjoy, that's fine. But if you think about it, this form of entertainment um, has an effect on your body. Uh, if you can watch the movie without it somehow invading your mind and your emotions, then you could say that it's not having an effect on you. But if you're dreaming about it and it's waking you up and you're screaming and things like that, apparently it does affect you. This is all part of knowing yourself well. So what you watch has a big effect on how happy you are. Um, if you can, strive for the kind of things, the entertainment that doesn't drag you down. It's supposed to be light. It's supposed to be maybe humorous, if that's what you're going for, or maybe even educational because you're learning something, or maybe it's a drama that teaches you something and helps you in life, that kind of thing. All those things are things to consider. Um, Now, I know nowadays when you start into entertainment, you don't always know exactly how far the people that produced it are going to go in one direction or another. But you've got to start relying on your instincts because if you're watching a movie, for example, and you read what it's about, you're going to get an inkling about whether this is heavily dramatized and exaggerated to the point of being cruel or over the top or um, concerning or not. And within the first 10 minutes or so, you're going to find out. And that's when you should make that decision. Never mind the fact that you like to see things right through to the end. Make the decision to take care of yourself. And that involves what you watch. Now, the thing about the news is it is based and backed on facts. And as much as you might not like some of the older systems, which is what the actual news is about, um, there are still media sources that will provide you with that. You can read up on those sources to find out if they have a bias or not. But the main thing is the facts, because they can exaggerate a bit, but they still have to give you the facts. And that's important because you want that to make your decisions. So, and limit how much news you actually watch. Because even there, sometimes the real life facts are too hard to watch. They can keep you up at night. So find yourself a reliable source and then watch that to be informed so that you know what's going on. And I think you will find that this allows you to make discriminating decisions about other things as well. Um, Surrounding yourself with the right people and so forth helps a lot uh, because the things you want to talk about will involve what you watch. And I really think nowadays, because things are so stressful and there's such a huge amount of misinformation and disinformation, which is serious, you have to realize that there are bad actors out there and that this is all part of self-preservation. Now, I've learned all that in my lifetime, but now I'm an older person who knows what I like and who I am and has a good understanding of where to go and what to do. But if you're still on middle-aged or younger and trying to figure things out, do yourself a favor and examine what you're doing. what you're watching, because that filters down into what you talk about and finally into what you believe. And because there are now sides out there about things, people aren't coming together to talk about things from the viewpoint of just wanting to understand and giving each other the space to figure things out. It's quite possible that one person can have a different opinion from another. And anybody's beliefs are personal. And it isn't up to you to change their mind or to make them believe what you believe. You can respectfully tell them what you believe. But I don't think it should go to the point of accelerating, into an argument that's a screaming match, or much further, where people hate other people, without even knowing them or knowing what's going on. And this sort of thing can all start from what you watch. So we're surrounded all the time now. We have television, we have the internet, we have cell phones that we carry around with us, so we're bombarded with this stuff all the time. Know when to turn things off, know where you stand, and don't allow yourself to start feeling emotionally dragged down. I'm very concerned about this because I know it makes a difference how you feel, what you think. And this whole channel is about happiness, which means you have some choice about this. I'm just telling you what I feel and have learned. And I can tell you, as a person who is a writer and who spent many, many years being a business writer and a feature writer for newspapers, that I had to go by the facts. And it's important to do so. It just is. No matter if you like that way it's set up or you don't, it's really important to get to the real issue, because everybody has biases. You just have to look out for yourself, because you don't want to end up mentally ill because of your choices. That can all be changed, and happiness is your focus, because if you're a happy person, you're going to lead a happy life. It's that simple. But your choices are everything. So I'm bringing this to your attention so that you can realize you have the right to your feelings, and you have a right to be happy. But making those choices is the first thing. So I won't say that, you have to be sensible about this, but basically it comes down to that, because you have to figure it out for yourself. Don't let somebody else tell you what to think. And that's basically what these opinion pieces are all about. And if that gets you all riled up, they're happy about that, because that just brings the numbers of people watching them in. And that's the aim, their aim, which is biased. You don't want that. You want something that you can rely on, and something that doesn't leave you stressed and and wondering what's going on again. So I'm going to leave that thought in your minds. Remember, everybody has a different opinion, and they're entitled to it. But the one that brings you happiness is the one that you want to get, and you need to get to the facts in order to find that. Okay? So I'll see you again soon, and we'll talk again about the things that I've learned along the way. Please subscribe, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.